Hello to everyone. Thanks for keeping it locked to this program. It's my pleasure to have you here with me once again on Football Planet. Next are the headlines. Good news to the clubs featuring this season in African Interclub. CAF has decided to pay the quotas earlier than expected, a great relief to the teams facing uncertainty linked to the COVID-19. Senegal is determined to continue the already suspended league to the end of the season. The federation has scheduled a return to competition in November after a unanimous decision. The president of the federation, Mr. Augustin Senghor, will explain this later. And then Hakim Ziyech, forever in the history of Ajax in Amsterdam. The Moroccan striker has been named the class player of the season for the third consecutive year. A nice farewell gift before joining Chelsea this summer. This sums up our headline. Next are the main stories. This is probably the best news for some clubs in this uncertain period of crisis. The Confederation of African Football will pay out sooner than expected teams featuring in CAFs this season. The body has started to pay the 32 teams already in the group stages of Champions League and Confederation Cup. More details with Michael Odwor and Guy Rodrigue. In light of growing concerns and the evolving nature of COVID-19 pandemic leading to the suspension of football activities across the continent, CAF has resolved to accelerate the payment of final tranche of financial rewards to participating clubs in CAF interclub competitions for the 2019-2020 season. The distribution, which has since commenced, is to reduce the financial burden on the 32 clubs that reached the group stages of Total CAF Champions League and Total CAF Confederation Cup during these trying times. Clubs will receive their dues based on the established prize monies for each competition till the quarter-final stage, when the two competitions were suspended indefinitely due to COVID-19. The minimum guaranteed for clubs participating in the Total CAF Champions League is $550,000 and $275,000 for the Total CAF Confederation Cup. Meanwhile, CAF is monitoring the situation closely and working with the relevant authorities, including the World Health Organization, on the impact of the virus on the continent, and will announce development to the competitions at the appropriate time. And we hope that this situation will quickly change. This is also the wish of CAF, which will soon meet to discuss precisely the possibility of a continuation of the season. And just to keep you in mind already, the planned semi-final, in case you forget them, we had the Wydad Casablanca that will battle it out with Al Ahly from Cairo. And then in the CAF Cup, we'll have Pyramid AC facing Hora AC, and RS Bakane Hassania will face Agadir. This semi-final will be 100% Moroccans. Now let's take a look at Senegal, where the federation that has scheduled the resumption of the season. It will be in November, depending on the evaluation of the health crisis. And for this, the mechanism for playoffs has already been decided. More details with Chancellor Guinea and Hawa Suleimana.
The Senegalese Football Federation is not ready to take chances. The organization has decided to put all football championships in the country on hold until November 2020 after Wednesday's emergency meeting. The decision was made based on the report of the Central Medical Commission on the recovery patterns and the economic impact of COVID-19 in the country. Despite uncertainty caused by the COVID-19 pandemic, the Football Federation hopes to continue the season based on a strategic approach. This time, the League 1 and League 2 championships will be held in the form of playoffs. The body has also postponed all competitions of small categories and beach soccer until the 2021 season. With this decision, the Senegalese Football Federation will partially sustain activities while the country intensifies effort to combat the pandemic. Senegal has already recorded more than 2,000 positive cases and 20 deaths.
But for now, uncertainty still hangs over as clubs are still challenging the players' decision. This is a case of Football Generation, the outgoing champions, which shows no intention to stop, as explained to us by communications manager Talafal.
We contacted the main clubs to make a petition and to say that today we don't accept it. There are some clubs who are ready to continue the fight and to dismiss this formula that they are trying to impose on us. We are not going to accept it, not at all. We are not the only ones. There is a lack of respect here. Who plays professional football? Professional football is played by clubs that play in the Elite 1 and 2. There is a board of directors for those clubs, but that board has never been convinced to talk to them about anything. And you get up early one morning and receive a press release saying that after the meeting that was held by the emergency committee, this is what was decided. And now they want us to go along with it. It's disrespectful. It's downright disrespectful.
Talafal is a communications manager for the Generation Foot. We now have the president of the Senegalese Football Federation. Thank you for giving us your time. Mr. Augustin Senyo, you may have listened to Talafal's speech. With all these challenges, can we expect you to reverse this decision?
Yes, Wahani, simply because we are bound by the decisions of state authorities. 2 days before our meeting, the president mentioned the fact that this pandemic will be lifted in Senegal at best from August or even September. So as a precautionary measure, we wanted to protect ourselves over a long enough period of time to be able to coach or teach or train despite the virus. Since we know that up to August or September we will not be able to play so much, we needed to take measures that will last up to the 2020 calendar year. Between now and then, we will have time to see how COVID-19 will develop, and if necessary, there is nothing at this point to prevent us from reviewing the measures that have been taken already. Either to move in the direction of a definitive cancellation, why not? And if time permits, we can go back to formulas that we can choose for playoffs and playdowns.
Can you explain more clearly on your last part? Are you ready to reverse this decision to have playoffs?
Look, at this stage, I'm sorry, it's definitive. We rely on the deadlines given by the health authorities. For example, the disappearance of the virus from August to September. Today, the whole system is disrupted at both international and national level. And the idea is to be able to return to a normal situation after 2 years. So, because of that, we'll have to finish very quickly and prepare ourselves for the 2020 and 2021 seasons that's coming up at the beginning of the 2021 year. So that's why we opted for this formula, given that we felt that it seems fairer than cancelling completely and bringing down teams that have played half of a championship. In the same way, we thought it would have been difficult to give the title based on half of playoffs and only based on the first phase of all divisions. So we decided that all the teams would keep the points in the first leg, and I think that makes perfect sense. Sport is a merit-based competition. Those that had a good run in the first leg deserve to keep their points. Those who haven't had enough must work hard and make the effort during these playoffs to earn the points necessary to either win the title or stay in the competition.
And as we know that we have salary problems for players and you are the president of the Confederation, how are you going to solve this problem?
Look, I think these are contractual relationships between players and clubs. We are in times where we're relying on force majeure clauses. So logically, the clubs that are the employers are obliged to take care not only of the players, but of all their employees. But it must also be understood that as a result of force majeure, there is no longer any compensation from the players. So in these cases, I think that in social terms, terms, they have to be protected. We'll therefore have to find a solution that will allow them to resume competitions, even if it is based on salary or a fixed monthly fee in terms of aid. And in this context, I believe that even if it is the responsibility of the clubs or the federation, depending on the means that can be mobilized, for example, how FIFA promised urgent support to federations and clubs, we have to discuss with the supervisory authority, the Minister of Sport, to see how they can support us. And based on that, we'll see how we can help the clubs to bear these burdens during this period. We just need to find the best formula that suits everyone and that everyone is ready to make the necessary sacrifices so that as soon as the pandemic disappears, we can return back to normal.
Thank you, Mr. Augustin Senghor, and see you very soon.
Thank you very much, Wahani. Goodbye.
That was the president of the Senegalese Football Federation. Thanks again. As I had mentioned in the headlines, Hakim Ziyech is still propelling further and further. The Moroccan international was named player of the season by Ajax in Amsterdam for the third year in a row, the culmination of a still superb season on a personal level. Despite disappointment in the Championship and Champions League, the Atlas Lion player has a royal outing. The 27-year-old forward will join Chelsea the Blues after the end of this season from Ajax. Let's finish with Germany, where the Bundesliga resumed this weekend as earlier stated, and a bad start for the Senegalese Salif Sane and Moroccans Nassim Boujela and Amina Harit. Their team Schalke 04 lost 2-0 to Borussia Dortmund of Moroccan Ashraf Hakimi. Also to note is a 2-0 victory by Bayern Munich against Union Berlin. And this brings us to the end of our show today. For more updates, keep it locked at Africanews on our television and our website, africanews.com. See you next week. Goodbye.